Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today I wanted to tell you about something that I personally experienced that was really frustrating me for about a week on Killer, and it kind of just came to a head, and I just had an epiphany that I feel like was very helpful for every killer to have. So if you haven't had this epiphany yet, I'm going to pass it on to you so you can also not get stuck in kind of like the gross rut I got with being unhappy with Killer for about a week. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So for about a week there, I got like really tired of Killer. Like every single day I would log on a stream and go to play Killer. I was really just annoyed and upset with almost every match that I played. I was basically just not having a good time anymore. And it was really upsetting. And the main thing that was kind of causing me to be in that sort of emotional distress state was just kind of like every single match I had people that were just sitting on gens, and if I tried to approach them, they would just shift W into the distance. And I know that the mid-chapter changes did a lot to try and like mitigate the shift W gameplay. It is still very much a live and strong form of gameplay that survivors can do. And it's really frustrating to deal with, because unless you're playing somebody like Wesker or Nurse or Blight, it's kind of hard to counter that, especially if they have a lot of resources or go to like something really strong like a main building. W gaming is, you know, done for a reason, because W gaming is one of the strongest tools that a survivor can use. So unless you're playing a specific character to specifically counter that playstyle, you're kind of hosed, especially if you're playing just like a normal, like M1 Andy, like Myers. You're kind of hosed if somebody decides that they just want to, you know, W into the distance, shift W into the distance. And it kept happening match after match after match after match. And it just got like really frustrating. And it came to the point where I was like really even starting to question, like, do I even enjoy Killer anymore? Like I was saying this a lot. I was saying, I need to find my love for Killer again, because I don't love Killer right now. I kept saying I need to find my love for Killer again, because I was having such like an unfun time fighting that playstyle, fighting the shift W playstyle. But then I kind of had like an epiphany while I was playing, I think it was end of last week, something like that. I had an epiphany while playing, and it's something that I just want to pass on to you so you don't get into the same rut that I did, because it was pretty miserable. So I think if you're in the scenario where somebody is going to shift W, like you go to chase them, and every single tile they go into, they just like leave immediately and keep running and running. I think the best thing you could do is outright just leave them. And I know that's kind of like an ergo, like well, obviously that's the simple solution is just, you know, well, just leave them forehead. But in a lot of cases, you know, especially if you have a lot of slowdown perks like pain res that are like, you know, tied to getting the down, you'll commit to the down. The problem is that a lot of survivors, what they'll do is they'll W key because they know that there's something strong in the distance that they can reach, whether it be like a jungle gym, whether that be like Shack, whether that be the main building. There is something in the distance that they are trying to reach, something that they are trying to get to that they know they can waste a lot of your time at. Usually shift Wing is kind of aimless on some players, and you can tell who just kind of like watched a YouTuber say that shift W is good and they just kind of shift W into like a dead zone. But a lot of people shift W because they're intentionally trying to reach something. They're intentionally trying to go to a specific resource that's really good for them. Like I said, good examples, a main building, Shack. Those are great examples. Really strong tiles like long wall jungle gyms. So these things are really important. And what I would do if you are in your Killer matches, what I would do if you're really annoyed with shift W gaming like I was, I would look and see, where is this person actually physically running? Where is this person actually going? Because if you see them running and you see them running towards a main building, or you see them running and they will eventually make it to Shack if you keep following them, you can just drop that chase. And that's where a lot of like gripes come from the survivor side, is you end up going back to hook, or you end up pressuring somebody that, you know, that just got off hook. And that's, you don't need to worry about that, because that's kind of like just preying upon your like emotional kind of like your honor, you know, it's an emotional reasoning. You are going to lose the match if you try to chase after somebody who's shift Wing, you see the Shack in the distance, or you see the main building in the distance, and you go chase that person down. Unless you're playing like a specific killer, like say, like I was mentioning earlier, Nurse, Blight, Wesker, people who are really good at like covering distance really quickly and are very anti-chase. Unless you're playing one of those killers, you're gonna have a bad time if you decide to take that chase. That's just how it's gonna be. So what you gotta do is take a look out, observe your surroundings, see if I follow the shift W gamer, are they going to reach something really strong like a main building or Shack? And then if they are, just leave them and go back and find somebody who's actually in a more vulnerable spot, even if that happens to be somebody who just came off hook or going back to hook itself. You are going to have much better results in your matches by not taking those chases, and really the only reason you don't take those chases is because you're worried about some sort of like emotional aspect of, am I being unfair, am I being unfun? So don't worry about that, because I can assure you they're not worrying about that. So yeah, that's just my little tip on how to avoid Shift W gamers and how to actually outsmart them, because that's kind of like my most frustrating and I find to be the most boring gameplay I face when I'm playing Killer. And I wanted to figure out a good way for you to be able to circumvent that, because it was definitely kind of like weighing on my ability to enjoy the game. So yeah, hopefully that advice helps you, but if it doesn't, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That's the best I got. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. And if I don't, I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.